Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of UC Solutions. Today we're going to continue exactly what we were doing in the previous segment. So if you guys are coming from that, I totally understand. Go ahead and skip this intro and get to the rest of the video. But for all the newcomers, let me explain exactly what happened in the previous segment. In that segment, we taught you how to trace your seat platform so that you can use it as a template to cut out new seat cushion covers. Okay? And in this episode, we're going to teach you how to sew those seat cushion covers. Now, if you guys are new to the whole series that this is based off of, this is teaching you how to reupholster a sofa from start to finish. That's pretty cool. So you know how to do a sofa from start to finish based off of watching these videos. Now, these videos are just the fundamentals and the essentials when it comes to reupholstering. There's a lot more to it, especially when it comes to this sofa in particular. So if you guys want to see the full length, go ahead and check out our website, ucprivatecourses.com. There you can see an 8-hour-long video. It took us a lot of work to put that thing together, and you can see it for just 30 bucks. Now you might be thinking to yourself, $30? I don't think so, I'm good. That's okay, because guess what? You can get it for free. Now, if you're going to pass up something that's free, I don't know why you would do that, especially when it benefits you. It's so much more knowledge, so you can brag to your friends saying, I know how to do that. And you actually do this time. So go ahead and check it out at ucprivatecourses.com. You can get it for free by signing up for our newsletter. It's very simple. We won't bombard you with emails. We're not that type of people. We don't like that when it happens to us. So why would we do it to you? So without further ado, go ahead and check out the rest of this video, and I'll see you shortly.
Get started on sewing this cushion. First thing we're going to do is the zipper bands. We have the right amount of zipper for the zipper bands. And they go around the back about maybe 6 inches on each side. Okay, so I'm going to take a tape measure, come over about 6 here, walk this around. This is the zipper bands I'm working with. It's a little more, it's okay. A little less. More is better though. Cutting them both at once, so I want to make sure they were even. They look pretty good. Now we're going to take our zipper tape. This is a continuous roll. You can buy these pre-cut, but they cost you a lot more money. I like to go a little bit past it. Cut it right there where I want it. Now I need a zipper slide, which I have right here. Has a bit of a groove in it, okay? That's going to receive the actual zipper itself, and this one is going up like this. It's basically a U. The odds of you seeing that are pretty slim, but you just slide the U part over top of the zipper, push it down in there, and pull them apart left and right. And there we go. Okay, now the next step, the way we do it, there's other ways, but this is how we do it. Take one of the bands, right side out, which is this right here, fold it right in half. These were cut 6 inches because of 5-inch bands. Do the same for this one. Now these put together will make the zipper bands, okay? Or zipper band. Just like that. So when we sew this on and we take up the 1/2 inch there, it's going to end up 5 inches. 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on that side. So let's go over to the sewing table and we'll get started. Okay, we're at the sewing table. I'll put on the zipper foot. You're going to need that. Let me cut this one for more light. You're going to need that zipper foot there, okay? Take our zipper. We're going to take the opened end. Make sure I have enough on both sides, meaning the zipper itself against the band. That looks pretty even. Now you can go all the way up like this to keep it together. It's probably easier that way. You can see I have more than I need on each end. No, close to it. I'm just going to rest the band, don't forget the back stitch, the band right on top of the actual zipper itself, right there. So I'm covering it up really, just like that. Stitch is pretty wide. It's a good idea when you're sewing to check your bobbin thread in the back there. For some reason this, at least it does on our machine here, the bobbin end on the zipper gets really messed up, so I got to crank this thing down some. That's the tensioner. Let me see how that's looking now. Okay, I don't like that. It's too loose. Let me take that out. Let me just quickly take that out. And we're going to start over, okay? The beginning's fine. Where I started, it's fine. With the back stitching. Now let's check it. That's much better. Crank it down to even a little bit more. That's good. That's tight, that's fine. So you see I'm just covering the teeth up here. Now let's put the next one. This is the folded side out that way. Or actually I should say the ends are here and the ends are here, and this is the folded side. So needle down, pivot, run it across. You can backstitch if you want, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to put the other end of the band on here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. And go right back up. Right up to the end. Okay, so when I finish that, I'll be right back with you. We'll put the other band on. Okay, so I just finished that up. Stopped right at the end here. Let me pull this back because I don't want the slide to fall off. I'll cut this thread there. This is the front band. The next step is we got to change the zipper foot. To a regular flat foot. Correct side up. Correct side down. ½ inch over. And go over that zipper area pretty well. You don't have to do it much, but I'm gonna go past it. All right, meaning the slide's not gonna get past that, because that is the stop. Right there. Okay, so that works. All right. The next step is we're going to get the one side of the cushions up here. One side of the cushion up here right now. And let's take, well, I'm going to take the bottom one. I'm positioning the D-clip strap right now. And just so I don't forget, I'm going to go over there and base stitch it right now in place, because I have done that. I've actually sewn them and forgot to put the D on there. Okay, just quick. Boom. That's going nowhere and I can't forget it now. Okay. So now that is the front. Here is the back. And to make the zipper band even, let's fold this over and make a little mark. Notch, small notch. Like that. Now let's take the zipper band. I should have already made a notch in there. And it doesn't look like I did. No, I did not. Okay. Fold it over. I'm going to do a notch on both sides, okay? Like that. All right, now I need to get the welt. Grant, will you please get me the welt?
Yes, sir.
Got to change this foot. That's the only problem, is constantly changing these things are a bit of a bear. Thank you. Now we're going to a 1/4 inch. It says 1/4 right there, cording foot, okay? As you can tell, it's got the groove in there for the cording. Okay. This is the back side. Got a little Z for zipper. Grant put on there. We're going to have the zipper end here. If I pulled that off, it would come right off. I almost did that. But this end's going to go over here. Okay, so this is the back side. And I'm going to find the halfway mark, the notch right here. So that should help us keep it even on both sides, going up around the sides there. I'm just going to quickly take a stick pin and put one up here. And perhaps one right here. Now I'm going to run the welt. I'm going to run it a little long, just like right here, okay? Past the zipper bands. You can come down a little lower if you wanted to. Okay. So I want to go up. I want to leave more than that. I want more room to work with, so I will pull it back up some. Sewing a 1/2 inch here. Now I'm going to release this because I want this to be straight. It's going to be easier for me to work with, you see? I'm just going to attach this. I don't want this to get in my way, okay? Because I'm going to start down here. I need to leave some room here. All right, so I'm just going to get this started. That's all I'm going to do. The welt. Quick little back stitch. Like my chair almost broke. It did. Okay. Now I'm going to take this pin out now because now I know where I want to start. So I'm going to leave this much, okay? I'm going to come all the way up here. Let me get these strays out of the way. I'm going to have to notch my corner right here. These scissors have been giving Grant and I a problem. They're just gnawing at it. Here's some nips. They do a pretty good job on the corners. Oh yeah. That's going to help us make that turn. Okay, I'm about a ½ inch away. Now I'm going to pivot, and we're going to turn this whole thing. Now, make sure you bend your welt all the way up in there so we can make that turn nicely. And you can, hopefully you can see that cut opened up the welt quite nicely, so it can make that turn for us. Get both your fingers in there so you're getting the welt underneath the cording foot right there. And we're just sewing right on that ½ inch line. Now the halfway mark on the zipper bands did come down a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. So it's going to come up a little bit further on this side, but it's going to be fine. Make a notch for our turning the corner here. Same principle. And you know, I could have come a little bit. Let me do that. I could have come down one more stitch. Okay. Actually, 2 more. There. There we are. We're about the ½ inch mark right there. That looks good. So same principle. Push that welt back there so it makes that turn. Okay. Look for threads like this. This is from the sewing of the welt. Might have run out of bob and had to start over again, but you'll end up having those sticking through the welt when you're putting in your cushion. All you're doing is just picking these stupid things out, these little threads, and it drives you crazy. So you might as well get them right now when you see them. So now I know you're getting the point because you see me go around 2 corners, and obviously it's a repeat when I come to this corner here. So what matters to you is how do you close this up? Okay, so I'm going to get back to you when I already went around this turn, went around this turn. It's the exact same thing I just did here and here, but the close up is what really matters. So, and I got to make sure, well, see, that's why I tacked it. So I just got to make sure I get the D-clip on there, at least before I close the other side up. So that's what really matters. So now it's in place, the D-clip, or the strap for it. So that's it. So I'll be back when I'm closing up the actual band itself.
We want to let you guys know something important. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate you guys watching this. That's what's important to us. Seriously, when you guys comment and say, hey, listen, this helps us out with this project, or I'm dealing with this, can you help me here? It does mean a lot because we enjoy helping people just like yourself. DIYers, improvers, you guys are great people. So thank you guys so much for watching this content. We really do appreciate it. If you like this type of content, go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out. It warms us up during this cold winter. Seriously, it's really fun to go ahead and see that. As well, if you want something happy to happen to you, guess what? Click the subscribe button. We're going to happen in your feed. We're going to go ahead and hang out more often. That's pretty cool. So click the subscribe button. If you need any help, also, check out ucprivatecourses.com. There, we can go ahead and offer you the tool list that we use, as well as custom cut foam. But you guys already know that. So let me not rehash the old stuff and get to this new content so you guys can enjoy it. So thank you guys. Always appreciate you.
Okay, so I came to the end here, and we have, this is where we started. I went around the turn here. I'm just going to cut off this much. I don't need much, okay? Oh, I wanted to clarify something too. I made a notch right here in the front of the band, okay? In the very beginning, I folded it in half. The front band, okay? Not necessary. I just have a habit of notching everything in the center, because you might be wondering, well, why did you notch it in the front? It's just a habit of mine. It's not necessary for this. It is necessary if you have a very specific pattern that you need to line up in the front, because you're going to have to start in the front. But that's a different video. It's a different subject. So I'm only clarifying just in case it's like, why did he notch it in the front? What good is that? It was no good at all. You didn't need it, okay? So just that, now that you know, that's out of the way. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the foot here and close this up, okay? You might have seen me do it before in the past. We're going to close this up. So we're going to start by opening up the welt here. We're going to open this one up. Give yourself a good amount of room to work with. Usually I don't give myself enough. So let's take it out of the machine now. We're not going to need this cording foot any longer. That's what I meant earlier, switching these around. Becomes a bit of a nuisance. Now we're going to need the wider flat foot. If you watched Grant and I's videos earlier, meaning this is not your first one, you're going to hear this a lot. When you sew these strips together here, I want you to have a tight stitch because you don't want to see this white welt underneath. So please get in the habit of tightening this down a stitch. I go down to like number 2 or so, it's fine. Because if you see that white underneath and you're all done and you're about to deliver it and the client says, hey, what's this? You're going to have to hand close that. And it's a pain, trust me, because I've been there. So I learned my lesson. I'm pinching that together, okay, like that. Let's make a notch. I'm laying it down on the table, as it were. So now I know where to sew, okay? Okay, so now take the 2 notches, It's like there's one right here, and there is the other. Line them up together, good side to good side. Like that. And okay, there we go. That's really good there. Now put the needle right where you snipped it. Okay, don't forget the back stitch. Okay. Oh, that thing just broke on me. The thread did. No, the thread did. Okay. Let me just put this back in there. Let's start that over. Cut that off, the bobbin thread. Let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Try to make it as flat as possible and just go straight across. Okay. Now cut all this excess off. About a 1/2 inch away. I'm just working with the welt right now. Now, so lay this flat on the table. Open up your seam. The reason why you don't want it to have it closed like that, it's going to be too bulky looking. So open up the seam, and that is why I want you to have a nice tight stitch, because if not, you're going to see it. Okay, try to keep it as flat as you can, everything, okay? Now, this looks like it stretches a little bit. So if you cut it if you don't have it stretched out and then you cut it, then you stretch it out, you're going to have a gap, and it looks kind of bad. So I am pulling with my left hand and pulling with my right, trying to make it as flat as possible. And if you think you got it okay, you can cut both at the same time like that. And if not, you just got to put a little piece back in there, but I think I'm okay. If you find yourself in trouble like that, then you can put a little masking tape on there. That too works. So let's just fold this over. Oh, see, now I got to change the foot. Yeah. It'd be nice if they had like a nice sturdy snap on, you know? Yeah. Where it just snapped on and wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, a nice strong magnet would be great. Like an earth magnet or something. Rare earth. Okay, yeah, okay. Fold that over on itself here. Start about here, get the needle down in there so I can work a little bit here, meaning pulling on it and such. It's going to take you a little bit to get used to doing this, but after a while, it's okay. Now, I am pulling with my left hand, just gently, to get this thing to go through. That feed dog underneath doesn't work sometimes very well. And I'll tell you what that is. That is this right here. These little teeth. That's called a feed dog. But that looks pretty good. That looks good. So now to closing this up. You obviously have too much band here. But what you want is called a zipper pocket. In fact, you could trim this off here. Okay, but before you do, we need to put a stop on there because someone could just pull that slide right off. So we're going to put this together. We're going to get some scrap fabric, which I have some right here on the floor. That'll work just fine. But see, now we're back to this cording foot, and it doesn't do a very good job on rolling over top of fabric. So we'll see how much I can chew this thing up. The flat foot's better. Pull the needle up. They do make zipper stops. Not really necessary in this trade. Back stitch. Okay, that thing's going nowhere. Okay, that's going nowhere. But you don't have to waste your time to have those zipper stops when you can just do tricks like that. They're good for, I think, apparel, making dresses and things. Now, start back over here, because this is where we stopped. Get the threads out of the way. I'm going to bring my stitch back up, okay? That's too tight. Okay, now I can't go too far because I have to get this down in there. Okay, like this. So that, I'm going to show you one more time. What I'm doing is I'm taking this and folding it on itself. You don't have to have all this. In fact, I can cut just a little bit off. You can make the pocket as deep as you want, but don't make it too deep because you can get your zipper lost back and you can't get your fingers back here to get it out. So this zipper pocket, it's a little too long. Let's make it a little shorter. 2, 2.5, 3 inches is fine. Make it a little more shallow. See, I gotta get this up in there. So you don't want to come too far down sewing because you're gonna have to get this piece here up underneath there again. Okay. In fact, I'm lifting it. Fabric up and the needle wasn't down. So we're looking about maybe 3 inches, 3 1/4, the pocket. So there we go. Now I'm just going to close this up, make sure it's tight, doesn't pucker right around here. I'm pushing this in. Okay, that's good. Now back stitch. Now what I like to do this next step is just baste stitch this because see, I don't want this to get all crooked when I'm sewing the other side, so I want it to look straight because it's not only supposed to be straight, but it's quality work and it makes the band even. So that looks nice and straight to me there, so I just roll over here and just put a quick stitch in here. Something like that, not at a 1/2 inch. Just anything to hold it. You can even put a pin in there if you want. And that looks pretty good. That's straight right there. Okay, you see this pocket goes behind and hides your zipper. All right, so now the next step we have is we need to make our notches in the corners. So what we need to do is we take our corners here and transfer over to the other end of the band, okay, by lining these bands up the best you can. You'll find out sometimes they're off a little bit, so you'll make some adjustments, but we'll cover that in a moment when we're actually sewing the other side. So I'm finding that point right here and trying to transfer it over, and I'm going to make another notch. Not too big, but just enough to know that that's a corner. Do the same thing in all 4 corners. Like that. Straight across. Line the bands up here. Double check it. That's looking good to me there. Notch it. So let me do that in the other corners, the other 2, and I'll be right back with you. So now what we have is all our notches in the corner. Now I want you to look at the notch on the actual cover itself. We folded that over where Grant put the zipper there, or Z for zipper. there's a notch. We want to transfer that over to the other end of the band, okay? Not the one on the band itself because it's shifted some. It's not perfect. So what we want to do is just do our best to transfer this over. And that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, it looks pretty good. You're going to find, what I'm about to show you, it's not going to be 100%. All right, meaning you're going to have to pull some here and let loose on some others, meaning other corners as you're going around the ends here. What you want, you're trying to get a square cushion. That's what you're trying to do. Correct side up, correct side down. This is the zipper area here. Okay, Z for zipper. I'm going to fold that over, get a notch in there. Like that, okay. Line this up. Put a stick pin in there. Now I need some more welt, and this is it here. We can start right in the back. We don't have to start on the side with this welt here. Before I get started, I want to make sure how these corners are lining up with our notches. And I like them. I like them a lot. Okay, so it's flat. I'm going to start about right here. With the welt. And leave yourself still some to close it up, okay? Now the hard part, the hard part of the cushion's over. Now it's just sewing this up and sewing it closed. It can be challenging if you have to keep pulling to make your corners line up, but other than that, it's easy. Okay, now I'm going to take the pin out. Pull it up to the corner, see how we're looking. And I like it. Okay. Try to keep it as straight as you can, putting in the welt. The longer your cushion, the more notches I think you should have in there. For guidelines. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. I'm going to pull the bottom just a little bit more and let the top kind of just be on its own to make it line up a little bit better. Oh, forgot to put the notch in there. Okay, now pivot. Push that welt back up in there, same principle. Incidentally, I'm using the presser foot for my knee to lift up the foot so I can maneuver all this, but the needle is down in the fabric. Okay, I can tell this is a little bit off the notch up here at the top here, but sometimes it's me, I didn't do it good enough, and I can see it right now, I didn't do it straight enough. It's further up to my left, so you may think you had it on there, but you really didn't. So it's okay, I put it too far over. So that's the struggle you're gonna have for these closings, is which one you pull, which one do you let, loose, type of thing. So the bottom needs to be pulled, and I also made the notch out of place. So that's the struggle on this one right here. But you want to check your notches early enough so you can start compensating for that. And sometimes you may not make your mark. You're going to have to take it apart and redo it, stretch it more. So that's it. That's the same principle all the way around. And when I get to the closing point, I'll be right back to you. Just keep those things lined up, meaning the corners and the notches. Find out if you did your notches first, the correct time the first time, which I didn't. I need to come over a little bit further, but that works to my advantage because I need more room. Okay, so it worked out very well. And when I get to the ending point, I'll be right back. Okay, so I closed up the welt just like I did the other side. It's identical, there's no difference. And just trying to get everything pushed in there. It can be a bit of a bear. I am pulling this pretty tight. Now would be the time to go and examine your cushion. Look it all over to see if you need to tighten up on the corners, if anything needs to be done. So now would be the time, okay? So you don't want to put it in the cover and realize, oh, this corner's not right. Open this up, because we're finished, okay? Open this up and cover all the angles. And incidentally, when I base stitched the D-clip in there, okay? That was just temporary. It needs to go through the band. It's not going to be on top of the cushion, because if you leave it there, it'll be on top of the cushion. So that's a little side note. But you probably don't even have one anyhow. But that's just so I don't forget, because I have forgot to put them back in, okay? So that's it. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to examine it, and then you're going to see us actually stuffing it, and we'll move on.
All right, guys, so now you've reached the end of the fourth part of this 8-part series. You know how to do a seat cushion cover from scratch. That's pretty cool. Not many people know how to do that, but now you do. Next week, what are we going to learn? We're going to learn how to do a throw pillow from scratch. Now, with a throw pillow, it seems pretty straightforward. You just do a square, but actually you don't do a square. So you're going to find out exactly how to do a throw pillow insert correctly, excuse me, not insert, throw pillow cover correctly. So go ahead and check that out next week. If you have any questions in regards to this segment, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. We'll go ahead and take a look, answer your questions. If you have advice, go ahead and leave it down there too. We do like to hear about it. And that's it. So if you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more content, especially next week's, don't forget to subscribe. That way we'll be in your feed and we can say, hey, we're here. We arrived. We did it. You want to watch? That way we can do that for you, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know what that was, but it's a fist bump through the screen. We'll see you guys next week.